Lusaka, Zambia. The air was thick with humidity and the smell of overripe bananas. Perfect, Steve thought. This was exactly what their banana beer needed. Steve, Sydney, and Richard huddled around a bubbling cauldron, their faces a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "Are you sure about this, Steve?" Sydney asked, her voice laced with doubt. She eyed the cauldron like it might explode. "Absolutely," Steve declared, his voice full of false bravado. He stirred the concoction with a long wooden spoon. "This, my friends, is going to be legendary." Richard, ever the pragmatist, just sighed. He had learned not to question Steve's brilliant ideas, especially when they involved fermenting fruit in his bathtub. The resulting explosion was a story for another time. The first sip was explosive, not in a good way. It tasted like a monkey had thrown up in a vat of fermented grass clippings. "Maybe it needs more sugar," Richard offered weakly, pushing the mug away. Their dreams of becoming Lusaka's premier banana beer brewers fizzled faster than the concoction itself. But as they sat there, covered in sticky banana goo and laughing until their sides ached, they knew one thing: they were in this together. Steve, Sydney, and Richard were a trio of glorious misfits. Steve, the self-proclaimed ideas guy, had a resume that read like a list of rejected Shark Tank pitches. Sydney, a marketing whiz with a fear of public speaking, had a knack for turning even the most mundane products into viral sensations. Richard, the level-headed engineer, was the glue that held their chaotic aspirations together. Their latest venture, a vineyard in Zambia. Because why not? Their loan application process was a thing of beauty. Picture this: 3 friends, dressed in ill-fitting grape costumes, performing an interpretive dance about the joys of fermentation to a very confused loan officer. Miraculously, they got the loan. Maybe the loan officer just wanted them to leave, or maybe, just maybe, he saw a spark of madness that he secretly admired. Their first day at the vineyard was chaos. Vines were trampled, grapes were squashed, and Richard narrowly avoided a nasty encounter with a runaway tractor. But amidst the disaster, they managed to bottle their first batch of wine. It wasn't good, but it was theirs. The early days were a blur of long hours, near disasters, and the occasional celebratory bottle of not-so-great wine. But slowly things started to come together. Their wine began to taste like, well, wine, and not just any wine, but surprisingly decent wine. Success brought its own chaos. Steve bought a life-size rhinoceros statue, convinced it would attract tourists. Sydney, terrified of interviews, hired a mime to handle all their press appearances. Richard, the voice of reason, invested in a really good noise-cancelling headset. Love also found its way to the vineyard. Steve pursued every woman who wandered within a 5-mile radius. Sydney developed a crush on the pizza delivery guy, but was too shy to say anything beyond "extra pepperoni, please." Richard downloaded a dating app and meticulously created a spreadsheet to analyze his matches, which yielded 0 dates. Section 4, From Festival Flop to Rock Bottom. The Lusaka Wine Festival was supposed to be their big break. It was not. Their wine display, featuring Steve dressed as a giant grape and Sydney's mime performing an interpretive dance about the terroir, was a disaster. To make matters worse, Steve, in a fit of romantic desperation, accidentally proposed to the wife of the Minister of Agriculture. She said no. The fallout was spectacular, their reputation already hanging by a thread completely unraveled. The bank threatened to foreclose. Their wine was voted most likely to give you a headache by the Lusaka Gazette. Even Ebenezer refused to answer their calls. Rock bottom looked like a half-eaten bag of crisps, 3 spoons, and Steve's tear-stained motivational poster that said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." But amidst the despair, something shifted. They stopped blaming each other and started laughing. They were a mess, but they were a mess together. Section 5. The Reclaiming and the Revival. The road back was paved with humility, late nights, and a healthy dose of Ebenezer's tough love. They even stole back the rhinoceros statue from the bank, which, according to Steve, was repossessing their mojo. The heist, involving a rusty pickup truck, a very confused guard dog, and a strategically placed boombox playing Barry White, was almost successful, almost. They rebranded, they relaunched, and this time, they were ready. Their new wine, Second Chance Sauvignon, became a surprise hit. It was still a little rough around the edges, but it had character, it had heart. It tasted like redemption. Word got out, people came, and they stayed. drawn to the chaotic charm of the vineyard run by three friends who refused to give up on their dreams. The vineyard thrived. They learned that success wasn't a straight line, but a messy, hilarious, and ultimately rewarding journey best shared with friends. And as they sat on the veranda, sipping their award-winning second chance Sauvignon as the African sun dipped below the horizon, they knew they wouldn't have had it any other way. Except maybe without the banana beer.